Tell me a bit about your work.
I believe I'm very contemporary. Obviously my work reflects what's happening in society around us. I am fascinated by history, and I believe that history is essential to know where we are going in the future and to make sure that certain things don't happen again. But at the same time, I'm not stuck in history. I observe what's happening around us. I'm part of what's happening around us. And I believe that artists are a type of recorder in society. And this is shown throughout history. In fact, the first, I suppose, cave paintings are the first markings in the caves were handprints. And that tells us something about the people at that time. Not only the people, but their own surroundings. So I don't think artists have changed very much fundamentally. The equipment and tools have changed, but I think artists are essential in society in that they record, they observe, they remember, and they leave messages for the future.
You use very minimalist equipment, but in a very sophisticated way. How did that come about?
So, yeah, I use very minimal equipment because I believe art is for everyone. People should not be discouraged by art, and they shouldn't think it's not for them, it's for everyone.
And can you explain your themes, for example, in the pieces behind you?
Now, this piece behind me, Pencil on Tissue Paper, is a study after Bernini, and this I drew for an exhibition, a solo exhibition in Rome in the Pontifical Irish College. I was very much attracted to the work by Bernini, and when you really look at these sculptures by Bernini, they're absolutely gigantic and they're magnificent. So I looked at certain aspects of his work, and I selected certain statues and looked very closely at them. And in particular this piece, you can possibly see it's a study of a man leaning over a balcony, and he's very intently looking to his left. So I've selected to show us just this area because it really doesn't matter who he is to me, I don't really care. He's just some guy, but his expressive hands, I want to convey the message in those hands, which I think is, to me, it's kind of saying me, me, and then is he saying, I should, or what should, there's something going on there, and that's what I'm exploring. And also, Pencil on Tissue Paper is such a contrast to Bernini's magnificent bronze and marble sculptures. So, I'm not competing with Bernini, but I'm certainly communicating with him.
Sorry, your other work, it relates to a different exhibition.
Yeah, 2015, I was invited to exhibit in Finland, in the Maritime Museum. They have a ship called Suomen Jutsen, and it's a magnificent, tall sailing ship. And she still sails, and she's Finland's favourite ship. And on that ship, the Finns have a dedicated gallery space. In fact, it's the full length of the middle deck, with portholes and a low ceiling and kind of low light, but very attractive light, with lovely decking and a slight curve in all of the walls and the ceiling and the deck and the floor. So I did a series of drawings, again to fit in with the space, and this time I chose to frame them in nice circular frames to reflect or to be in sympathy or keeping with the portholes on the ship. So when we installed the exhibition, it looked absolutely magnificent because the frames caught the light, and it just felt very comfortable and very natural, and they're wooden frames as well, so it's all very at ease and peaceful. For the subject matter, I chose to do a series of drawings of pigeons which I had found dead, because I cycle around Dublin City and it's pretty scary, and I frequently see pigeons which have been killed. They were off on their business, some morning or evening, and they met with a really nasty accident, and they didn't get home, and it touched me, and I felt sad for them. But I also felt that there's a human story there as well. It happens to people, and there's a certain equality between me and that pigeon. It could be me someday, hopefully not. So I also felt I wanted to recognise these pigeons' existence, and I started photographing the pigeons on the road. From those photographs, sometimes I might do a very quick sketch just to get a sense of the volume of the bird. I did a series of drawings which were for Finland, and I'm laughing because when I told the Finnish curator of the ship's gallery what I was doing, I think he was pretty nervous, and I sent the works over, and they unpacked them. And I knew there was a sense of trepidation. I could sense it in their emails and their communications. And the very first day that they had installed the exhibition, a huge number of school children had been booked to get a tour of the ship. So I think they were really nervous about the dead pigeons. So they put up the exhibition, which is lovely, and the feedback came back straight away that they loved the drawings. I was very happy that the Finnish people understood my intention, and they were also very much understanding of the reasons that I did the work.
You say that your work is very accessible and the materials you use are very accessible, and they're materials that anybody from any walk of life could avail of. But when you look at the drawings and that, they are very delicate. Do they have to be cared for in a special way?
I suppose with any artwork, framed with glasses, if you can use UV glass or museum glass, and I have done that on some works, but I have tested the paper, and the pencil won't fade anyway, but the paper seems to be fine because it's such cheap paper. Not a lot of, I suppose, chemicals or whatever have been, I suppose if you could say, wasted on it. So I think it is all quite easy to lay out. And there are some hanging in on walls in Rome where the light is ferocious. And I did worry a little bit about them.
So Maebh, I believe you have a new exhibition coming up in Assai.
That's right. This coming June, I have an exhibition opening right in the centre of the medieval town of Assai in Italy. Really looking forward to it because Assai is a very, very special place. It is the home of Saint Francis of Assai, and he is really one of the most popular saints in the world, and he's well known for being the patron saint of animals.
So the title of your exhibition and the subject matter, the theme of your exhibition, is it to do with animals?
It is. One of the themes that I consistently address in my work is the theme of compassion and the need for it in our society. I'm aware of the cruel practices on animals, and there are really disturbing things happening in the world. So I gently bring this subject to people's attention in a way that is not frightening or unpleasant, but it does bring this awareness to people.
What's the title of your work?
The title of this exhibition is L'anima, which is Italian for the soul. I believe that we all have that in common. I believe that every living creature, like ourselves, has a soul. It's the difference between being alive and not being alive in the way that we are used to. But we all have a soul in common. Also, l'anima sounds in English like animal, so it seems to me, at the moment, it's my working title, and I think I will stick with it.
And where did you get your inspiration from?
My inspiration comes from the everyday. It comes from the world I live in. It comes from newspapers, things I see, events, stories, history. And in fact, history is a very interesting part of my research. So when I went to visit Assisi, because I had read about the life of St. Francis and St. Clare, it was just amazing to be in that special place and to see such beauty in the environment. So I was walking along medieval town, and one of the first things that I saw were two men bending down to give a dog water. And I just thought, to me, the two men, they looked like they were dressed a little bit in rags, and they were helping this dog, and it was an extremely hot day, and they were giving the dog water. And it really touched me, and I really felt that if that's the way the world can be, it would be a very, very special place.
How many pieces do you think you'll have for this exhibition?
I think I will show at least 16 drawings on a very rough archival watercolour paper.
What animals in particular do you focus on?
I represent all animals in my work. So, for example, I will go to the National Gallery in Dublin, and I went and I did a brief survey of what paintings are on the walls there, and what paintings and how many paintings have animals, one as a subject and two just in the picture. I selected animals from the paintings and I brought them into my work. So in a way I feel like I'm giving them another life, and I'm treating them with the respect that they deserve. They are the centre of my pictures, and they are drawn extremely well. And they are drawn, in the case of a still life, for example, there's a still life of a rabbit or a hare in the National Gallery. So I've taken that image, I've redrawn it, and I have given, I think, by drawing the animal with his eyes open, I feel like that, I hope in a way that I'm giving this animal another life. So that's one example of where my work comes from. Other works that I have drawn, as I said, they come from images I see in my everyday. So whether it's walking down the street or if it's some kind of newspaper article, I will pick out, or the animal will catch my eye, and I'll draw a representation of that animal because I think they deserve to be elevated and to be respected.
And have you got somebody to open this exhibition for you?
Well, at this point, I've been very, very lucky that the rector of the Irish College in Rome, the Pontifical Irish College in Rome, his name is Monsignor Kieran O'Carroll. He's a great supporter of the arts, and he has very kindly agreed to speak at the exhibition. I'm also hoping that the Irish ambassador to Italy will open the exhibition. I think that it will be a really, I think it's going to be a really good event.
So you've had connection with the Italian embassy before, didn't they open a show for you?
That's right, in 2013 in the Pontifical Irish College in Rome, the rector, Monsignor Kieran O'Carroll, gave me a lovely opportunity to exhibit my work, and we had the exhibition opened by it was actually Bobby McDonough, and it was his first engagement with the public. It was his first duty as ambassador to Italy. So we had a really, really fabulous afternoon. The ambassador and his wife met the Irish diaspora in Rome. They stayed for a very long time, and I found that working with our embassies abroad has been a tremendous experience, and everybody in the Embassy of Ireland to Italy have been fabulous. They're wonderful people to work with.
Thank you.